All right, so I'm going to be showing you guys how to take a network capture packet file or a Pcap file and extract a file or a Word document, in this particular case, from that Pcap. Pcap, if you don't know, is a network capture or packet capture file that can be done through a number of tools or methods. Of course, TCP dump is probably one of the most popular way of doing it, or even using Wireshark is another one. I think you can do it through T-Shark, but the first two, of course, are the ones I'm familiar with the most. But again, there's other tools out there that you can extract these particular files from. So in this one, again, we're doing a Pcap, we're taking a Pcap network packet capture file and extracting a Word document from that. I didn't do the word capture or the Pcap myself. I did get the Pcap from a website. It was a forensics challenge website. In this particular case, puzzle one, Anne's bad aim. In this particular challenge, you have to answer 3 questions. We're not going to be doing that through this video, but through the video and the techniques and some of the stuff that I'll be showing you guys, you'll be able to answer all the questions if you want to go and try it yourself or this particular website. I will post a website link in the description below, and then a couple other or one other website, and then some commands and other stuff that we'll be using within this video, so you could recreate everything that we see here. So again, we're going to be using one from a known challenge for that. So in this, again, particular case, we'll be using this Pcap evidence. So when I double click it, it opens up in Wireshark. And if you're not familiar with Wireshark, Wireshark does break down packets fairly nicely. This top pane up here, it breaks it down into source, destination, your protocol, and then of course kind of the information for that particular packet. So it breaks it down into individual packets. This bottom left pane breaks it down a little bit further into your OSI model, at least the top, first 4 OSI model. For anything that may be a bit higher, like NTP, there's really no 5 and 6. It usually just goes right into 7. You can see that here with the HTTP packet, I believe, somewhere. Yep, right here. So you can see, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and then the layer 7 of that. And then over here on the bottom right pane, we can see kind of the hex value of the raw data of that particular packet. On this side here, we can see the hex, and then here's the ASCII value of that hex. So since we're going to be kind of looking for the hex value, or breaking down some of these things, so if I with Wireshark, you can right click on, say, TCP. TCP, of course, has the session. And so we're going to kind of follow a session. So in this case, we're doing a TCP stream. We're going to follow it. And you can see here, this is the ASCII value of that hex, essentially kind of all together, that whole session, the communication from the source to the destination, and then the response back from the destination to the initial originating source. And you can see here there is 2 different colors. There's blue and there's red. And it's kind of close related to quasars, and maybe even to the 3D glasses. I'm not sure who the creators of Wireshark are going with, but it's the same principle, where the blue light is coming towards you and the red light is going away from you. And it's they're kind of breaking that up, the 2 different colors and the communication between sources. So in this, when you do that, follow that TCP stream, we can see the ASCII value of those hex values. We can actually change the data as. So first way here is we can do hex dump. This breaks it down into the hex values and then the ASCII value here on the right hand side. And then finally we can just do strict raw hex. And so we can see that here. And this is what we're going to be doing to extract out the file manually. So in here, we're going to look for a few things. This isn't the correct one we're looking for, but we can, we'll hopefully have to find what we're looking for that. And I don't see anything interesting too much here. Generally, when I'm trying to extract files from a Pcap or something like that, I try to look for a number of TCPs together, and kind of a flow together, because of course you're transferring a file, and so the packets themselves aren't going to be interrupted by any other packet. I mean, they will be interrupted, or there'll be other packets in there, but they're generally going to be kind of closely packed together, and that's kind of what I'm looking for in this case. So I'm going to follow TCP stream again, and so I can see here when I open it up, there's a reference to a recipe.docx. We can see this file X transfer here, and then we can see this PK. What's interesting about this PK, I'm going to open up a website again. Gary Kessler did a phenomenal job at collecting or putting together a bunch of file signatures together. So a lot of times your file signatures are based off of the header. If you open up a file in a hex editor, you can look at the first few bytes of that particular file and determine what type of file it is. You may have a file that has an extension. It could be the wrong extension. The header file is going to tell you kind of what that file is. And so that's kind of more of a reliable way of doing it. So what we're going to look for is we're going to look for a docx file here. And you can see that PK like I just mentioned. This PK is really it's a zip file. And so the newer Microsoft Office files, they are XML formatted or format files, but they're all zipped up. And so that's why you see that PK here. So really any zip file is going to have that PK that's up there. So in Office documents, particularly with the docx, the pptx, and the slsx files, we're gonna see this particular header, and then we should also see this trailer within that also. So if we go back to this particular stream here, TCP stream, we're going to change this to hexdump. On this hexdump, you can see here, I can actually see that that 50 4B 0304 14 0006 00 again. So that matches up with that. Again, we saw the docx reference up here, and then we can do one more validation down here at the end, and we should still see that trailer. And there's a PK right here, which is that 54B 0506, which matches up with this particular here. And then if you want to count those, you can, but there's 18 bytes at the very end here. So we're going to change this value or this data source again, or not source, how it's displayed. We're going to change it to raw data. And so in this particular case, we're actually going to copy all of this all the way down to the end of the blue, because that's the end of the file transfer. Right click, copy, and then you can do nano, and so I'll change it to desktop, and then nano, and then I'm going to just create a hexdump.txt file, and then I'm going to paste that all in there and save that file. Oops. And save that file. And then you can see here that it should be on the desktop up there. Right there, and if I open it up, you can see all the hex values that are, or the hex dump that I just pasted in there. So once it's in there, we are now going to go back to the desktop again, and we're going to use a program called XXD. XXD does hex dumps of binary files or other files. It can also do the reverse of that. So we're going to do the reverse, of course, because we do already have the hex dump. So that TAC R is going to be revert. TAC P, if you remember when we did the that hex, see how all the hexes together right here? That TAC P is going to say it's all continuous together. So if you don't do that TAC P, it's going to continue to make that file, and eventually you'll run out of disk space. It's almost like a I guess a memory bleed or whatever, but yeah, so it'll actually keep trying to build that binary file, and then of course you'll run out of disk space for that. So that TAC P, of course, does it continuous. I'm going to do the hexdump.txt file, and then I'm going to standard out it to a recipe.docx file. Once I do that, the file is then created, and if I open that up, and then there it is, the secret recipe. So if you guys are interested, there's your super secret recipe. So we have that created. That was one method, and I will delete these ones here. Our second method is not even going to use Wireshark. Second method is a method we can do so we do tcpflow, TAC R, believe is basically read the file of the Pcap, and then we're going to output it to a folder. So again, we're just going to tcpflow basically is going to go through that Pcap of that network packet capture file and extract out all the flows or all the streams that are together. So once we do that, we can just open this up and we can see there is a number of different flows that are in there, or streams, we want to call it. And we can see that all there. And then we're going to use a program called Foremost. Foremost is a forensics tool, or used primarily for forensics, to extract out files from digital images and things like that, or other files, or in this case, go through all these files that tcpflow created, and then look for particular file types based off of their header, and so it'll it has a large number of predefined header files that it can it'll go through and look for. So it'll most likely extract more than just the .docx file from this. So any other files that it can potentially find that's in there. I mean, if you really want to, you can go into Foremost, into some libraries there, and actually add in if you want to add in a custom file. If you want to do just a single file, you can do that too. But in this case, we're just going to do just the base command for Foremost. We're going to do all the files and then output the extracted to a folder called extracted files. So we do that, we should be able to see go here. We can see that we have .docx folder, GIF, HTML, and zip. So extracted more than just that .docx file. It did extract some GIFs, as you see there. Extracted 3 HTML files, 1 zip, and then finally our .docx file. If you open that up, and kazaa, there it is, the secret recipe again. So there's the second method. So the first message we used Wireshark. We pulled out the hex, converted that into a file, and we was able to produce a file. Second one, we used a couple of tools together to extract that out. Finally, we are going to use another file called NetworkMiner. This one is a .exe. So of course it runs natively in Windows, but if you can run it in Linux if you would like. So in this case, we are going to run it in Linux. We did. And open up that evidence file. What's really handy or nice about this tool is it will go through that network packet capture and extract out all the different hosts that it sees. It'll break down each host. It shows its MAC address, any other information that it may extract from it, like OS, or the host name itself, how many packets it sent or how many it received, so on and so forth, so forth. But yeah, so you can grab a number of different things from that and compile it all together nicely. Where Wireshark, it's not as simple or straightforward or as well organized as NetworkMiner does. It can extract out files, where Wireshark can do the same thing also, but doesn't always grab the files that you're looking for. It can't always see them. It can grab out messages, and again, I mentioned at the beginning where this is from a forensics network challenge, essentially. Really, from this particular tool, you can grab everything all in kind of one dashboard, essentially. You can see that they're going to Hawaii here. You can see, here's a secret recipe. I just downloaded, and it gives all information, or it basically can answer all the questions that you have or that's in that particular challenge all in here. Also, you can see there's credentials. You can see the different sessions. There's the DNS queries, different parameters like NetBIOS, if there's any other keywords or anomalies that it sees within that. In this particular case, we're just going to be looking at the recipe.docx. If we right click we can open up that file, and we can see there is our secret recipe again. So there you go. There's 3 different methods of extracting it. Of course, again, first way, manual. Second one is using a couple tools together. And then the third way, of course, is using one single tool, a very powerful tool, NetworkMiner, to do that. So I will post the links, the commands, and the tools that I use to extract out that Word document from the Pcap files. Again, thank you for listening, and till next time, cheers.